What is up, nerds? My name is Jeremy Akers, Jeremy Nathaniel Akers, to be specific about it, and I want to talk to you about one of my favorite liberating structures, social network webbing. Now, social network webbing is one of these artifacts liberating structures, and it's going to help us to make the artifact of a map. In this instance, a stakeholder map, a better stakeholder map. What makes it a better stakeholder map is the fact that it's going to help us to focus on weaving relationships. Organizations, you'll be surprised to learn, are not made of people. They are made of communication. They are made of relationships. And by foregrounding those relationships and the communication that flows across them, we're going to be better able to find affordances to weave those relationships. So we're going to make use of social network webbing. And it's going to help us, if we're smart about it, reveal different forms of capital as well. So how do we go about doing that? Well, we're going to set the stage, and we're going to create a legend. So what are the groups, traits, or categories? What are the buckets we're going to create for that legend? And how are we going to signify those buckets? Use yourself a 1, 2, 4 all. Take 5 minutes. Don't take forever about it. And when we're done, we're going to have something that looks like this. We're going to have these 3 rings set up with the core of our group, our design or do circle, with our feedback circle, our adjacent, and our periphery further adjacent to that. And we're going to have our buckets sort of lined up and indicated, ready to rock and roll. So first thing we're going to do on the docket, once we've got our buckets, is we're going to ask our core members to place their names in that design or do circle and ask ourselves the crucial question, who's missing? And we're going to just do that in a quick 1 all, get everybody up on the board, and add anybody who is missing to our map. Then we're going to step back. We're going to ask ourselves, who do we know that's active in our field, in our work? We're going to place them in the adjacent circle. This could be the teams up and downstream in our value stream. These could be the other agents active in our field of play. These could be, our stakeholder context. Those that have expertise and knowledge about the domain that we're in. Those could be those that are going to be influenced by the decision and work that we're doing here. At any rate, use a quick 1 all and add those folks to our adjacent circle, that second ring. And now we're going to get a little juicy. We're going to step back and we're going to ask ourselves, who knows whom? Who has influence and expertise, who can block our progress, who can boost our progress. We're going to illustrate all that with some connecting lines between our individuals. Now we're going to really map those relationships. And we're going to use a sort of one all and a big old block of time to start to map out and add some richness to that context. Once we've got that, we're going to fill in the rest by asking ourselves, who else would we like to include and jam with in this work? These could be the cats that we know of, but we don't know anybody at. These could be the places that we're going to need to get into if we're going to be successful. This could be part of our 5-year roadmap. The important part is to place these nerds on the periphery and go wild with how you map it out. You can mimic the actual, you can map out the desired participation of these nerds. Take 10 minutes and go nuts. And then we will have ourselves a social network web. Sorry, we're missing the animation or the addition of the connections here, but you get the gist of it. This artifact is going to help us to weave those relationships, and we're going to do that in the following step. Now we're going to strategize. Once we've got ourselves a completed artifact to organize the conversation around, now we can start to do our now what and scheme into the future. So how do we invite and attract and weave new people into the project, into the core, into the adjacency? How do we get their participation juiced up? How do we work around those blockages and especially reduce restraining forces? And how do we, of course, boost progress and, celebrate our wins and stack those nerds up? Use 15% solutions, use your network patterning cards, use just one all in 15 minutes to get some stuff on the board, and you will be on your way to weaving better relationships. Now, I mentioned different forms of capital. Those you can find in terms of, this inventory, especially around the assets, around influence and expertise. You'll find that there's all different types of assets, holders of assets and resources for you to make use of in your strategies. Be schemy. Build your movement. Wherever you are, I'm sure you're trying to get something done with other nerds. And you're going to need to build a movement to bridge that reality gap and process the tension between where we are currently and where we could be. And if you're trying to meme something into existence, you're trying to build a movement by definition. And if you're explicitly building a movement, well, then come get yourself some social network webbing. My name is Jeremy Akers. This has been a Wise Crowds production. I want to thank you for your time, attention, and energy. Go get dangerous out there, nerds.